Scientists in Geneva have pioneered new technology which allows wireless communication between the brain and the spinal cord, allowing paralysed patients to walk again. Well, this is Gert Jan Oskam, who has been paralysed for 12 years after he broke his neck in a cycling accident. Implants the size of SIM cards were placed in his brain over the areas that control movement, one side for the left leg, the other for the right. A computer powered with artificial intelligence then interpreted his brain signals and sent an instruction wirelessly to a second device that was implanted in his lower back, bridging the damage to the spinal cord. Electrical impulses were then sent to coordinate his leg muscles, allowing him to walk.
Came into the hospital in the Netherlands for the first time after I broke my neck. I was hoping they will offer me a system like this, but there was nothing. So I was a bit disappointed when I arrived in the Netherlands and they told me, you will never walk again anymore. We can't help you. And I think with this system, yeah, I can only wish it was happening to me 12 years ago, but I'm still pleased that I have it now.
Well, this is quite simply extraordinary. I mean, you know, you use that word a lot, but this is a case where it's totally justified. This is our science and medical correspondent, Thomas Moore, to tell us more about it. We see him walking there through essentially SIM cards in his brain and it's connected to his spine.
It's just wow, isn't it? I mean, he has a severe injury to his spinal cord in his neck after a really nasty cycling accident more than 10 years ago. But now they've managed to bridge that damage. They've reconnected his brain to his muscles and allowed him to walk again, to take a step again, to climb stairs. And it is quite extraordinary to watch the video. Yes, his walking is not fluid. It is hesitant and it's slow and he drags his feet. But imagine the transformation for someone who is in a wheelchair because of paralysis, who can't even stand and look somebody directly in the eyes at their level. And he can do all that now. He can stand at the bar with his mates and have a beer and look them in the eye. And he says for that, it's a psychological and a physical thing. And it is because of this extraordinary technology that they have been able to decode that jumble of brain signals from the part of the brain that controls muscles but can't get through the spinal cord at the moment, and then with artificial intelligence turn that into electronic signals that wirelessly go back into the spinal cord and coordinate the very complex muscle movement that leads to walking. Quite extraordinary. And the doctors have been working on it in Lausanne, in Switzerland, believe that this is a transformation for people living with paralysis. And I spoke to them earlier today.
Yeah, we believe this is a real breakthrough here. It's not controlling robots. It's really reconnecting two regions of the central nervous system that are disconnected. This is like the true digital revolution in terms of prosthetics.
It's a completely new dogma that is starting with, of course, a proof of principle, only one patient, but it shows us that it's not science fiction anymore and that a new era for these people and new hope can be given to people with a spinal cord injury.
Well, it could quite literally change the lives of, you know, hundreds of thousands of people who are affected by similar injuries. But at what stage are we at with this, Thomas, in terms of, is this just the initial stages? When can, you know, people at home affected perhaps get involved in this? Yeah,
just on the numbers, 50,000 people in the UK alone living with spinal injuries, and that goes up by 2,500 a year. Wrap that up worldwide, and it's a lot of people, as you say. And they're optimistic that it could even be used for people who are paralysed through stroke. And that's a whole new category with many thousand more. So they are trying to roll this out, but you can imagine this is going to be expensive technology. And there is some disquiet amongst people who are disabled from spinal cord injuries that it'd be better to spend money on helping them adapt to life as they know it rather than reinventing the technology to allow them something which is difficult to regain. They've already made the adjustment to a wheelchair, better to help them to live well in that chair. So it's controversial, but nevertheless, take nothing away from the extraordinary stride taken through this technology.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, that's an interesting angle, actually. Like you said, some people have been living with the injury for so long, they don't want the change. I mean, a lot will come with that in terms of, you know, adapting to walk again. In that sense, what happens next, Thomas? Where does it go from here?
So they hope that this is just going to develop. They believe that they can improve the implants, the artificial intelligence will get better at decoding brain signals, and the hope will be that you will get that fluid motion that most of us don't even think about when we walk. But for him, Gert Jan, he's having to think about every movement, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, and it's very deliberate, and it's not subconscious in the way that we would see it. And that is the challenge, to help people really adapt to life back on their 2 feet once again.